While the Bitcoin halving may have happened yesterday, the BlackRock flipping in a few days will have a much bigger effect on the Bitcoin market. This is especially true since grayscale selling has stopped while they start their Bitcoin mini trust. These groups like Mr. 100, who is now the 11th biggest Bitcoin whale, are going to become much more important in this new age. What does the BlackRock flip in? That's not what I mean. This chart was on the thumbnail for today's movie. Now we're looking at the second and third biggest bars on this graph. The purple bar, which is the second largest on this chart, is grayscale. It's clear that they have 300,000 Bitcoin, and elliott has the second most Bitcoin of any company in the world. They have 274,000 Bitcoin in this color, which we'll call lime green. And elliott will be bigger than grayscale in a few days. What this means is important because the CEO of GBTC Trust, Michael Sonnenschein, just released a new statement this week talking about the outflows and how he thinks the Bitcoin ETF market has found a balance. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. But before we read that story, I want to show you this chart. It really helps you understand how much Bitcoin is worth. In the big picture, it's not that much. You should think about both funds, which are about $20 billion and $18 billion right now. Okay, that's really cool. You can see a nice summary of it in this tweet. We've had elliott coming in for 68 days in a row. Also, GBTC has lost value for 68 days in a row. Okay, so the flip it in is coming. It's even more interesting when we look at this story that came out this week. We're now at a point where the CEO of Grayscale thinks these kinds of trends are stable. So he says there are some short technical problems. Before I cut off, I was just saying that the ETF market has hit a state of balance. To help you understand what I mean, let me draw a picture of it. Cloven says we're back. Thanks to everyone in the chat for helping me get this live stream back on track. Taking a look at the GBTC withdrawals right now, we've seen more days with less than a $100 million outflow than days with more than a $100 million outflow. I'm sorry, I meant to say the month of April. That is very different then. Look back at the first few weeks. You kept saying 400, 600, or $300 million lost days. Not anymore, and not for the month of April. Here's some of what the CEO of GBTC is saying. Look, a lot of the worst selling is done. This isn't just empty words either. This is true if you look at the facts. One interesting thing about all the fuss is that it seems like the flows are also kind of slowing down and dropping. This chart shows that there was a huge amount of movement in March, or more accurately, a huge amount of money coming in. Next, this measures the amount of money that is going into crypto from institutions. Now, let's go over that again. Even though this isn't necessarily tracking the money coming into Bitcoin, it's still a really big business. But I believe it's a good representation of, what does money from institutions do? What does big money do? What does the place actually have going on? This chart helps you kind of picture that. Okay, also the map was pretty cool. I also had another one I wanted to show you, and this one shows you something very similar. I think we should start putting together a few more puzzle parts. Okay, so this post that we put on our new blog, also known as our new website. Please let us know what you think of the brand new Bitcoin news site. We just launched this last week and we've kept a lot of the good things about the old site. So please let us know what you think. What do you think about it? However, as you can see, Bitcoin ETs had 5 days of withdrawals before the halving. Okay, in other words, we've pretty much hit a point where not many big institutions are interested in Bitcoin right now. And it looks like Bitcoin has had the first big rocket-like run in this space. It almost feels like there's a break now. Everyone wants to know what will happen next. We had the cutting in half last week. It's possible that this will slowly cause a supply shock. After that, Bitcoin might have its next soaring run. Once more, no one knows, but people aren't as interested in Bitcoin these days. That's pretty much what you want to see. Yes, that is exactly what you want to see. Because this is what Dan M's comment is about. Thanks for your opinion, Dan. We've seen that the hash rate keeps going up in a parabola shape. Okay, indicators like these are what I think we should be looking at to see what's going on in Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin good for you? Does it still make blocks every 10 minutes? Yes. Are there still people who want to mine Bitcoin and join the network? Yes. Okay, so the network is still working as it should and is very safe. Okay, I believe that price is the less interesting measure to look at. So Dan M makes a good point. I saw yesterday's video of the BTC hash rate debunking the suggested death spiral. As we said in yesterday's video, the idea that Bitcoin mining will go into a deflationary cycle is not true. That's being talked about by some. So Dan says that made him worry. Thanks for making that clear. I'm still not sure about runes. I need to go to BTC 101 class. Okay, so that means we haven't made a movie just about the Bitcoin halving. I talked about that on my personal account yesterday, but Bitcoin fees are going up so quickly right now because the Runes protocol is being launched on Bitcoin. So launched on the day that block number 840,000 was cut in half. You can see that the fees for transactions have gone down a lot. As you can see, their transaction fees are about $11. Let me zoom in and out on my big mug to show you. It costs 122 such to talk.